Knuckles.
All right. Hey, you the man. You gonna do that on your attorney's report?
I don't want to sound braggy.
No, you ought to.
Wait until the town clerk. No. Okay, we will call to order the Oak Island Town Council public hearings and regular meeting of November 12th, 2014. The council will enter into its invocation led by Mayor Pro Tempore Medlin, and then we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this gorgeous day we've had today. Thank you for the beauty of this place we live, and we're reminded daily of how blessed we are to be here. Thank you for those men and women tonight that are going to stand in harm's way so that we can be here. And as we celebrated Veterans Day yesterday, we've been reminded in so many ways of all those who've given their lives for our freedom. And we've seen so many pictures and stories about people who gave their bodies, or literally they've come back crippled and maimed for life. And it troubles us to see that. We know how blessed we are. Thank you for so many throughout the years of history who laid their life on the line so that we could have the freedom, the precious freedom that we have. Thank you for every opportunity you give us to serve you and serve our fellow man. Our prayer tonight is that we would do it diligently, and we would represent you first of all, and then the people that we serve. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilor Medlin. First on the agenda tonight would have been public hearing number 1. The applicant has requested that we defer public hearing number 1 until further notice. So we move on to public hearing number 2 to receive citizens' comments on a proposal to amend Section 18-148 of the Town's Code of Ordinance regarding the number of parking spaces required for single-family residences. We have had some people sign up to speak at that public hearing. First is Betty Hupp.
I'm Betty Hupp. I live at 7916 East Yacht Drive. And I want to talk about this parking for private residences. Tonight, Town Council will address parking for houses being built right now, as I understand it, if a 7-bedroom house is built, it must have 7 parking spaces available, 1 space for each bedroom. In May 2014, a vegetation plan was proposed and adopted on August the 12th after a public hearing. Councilor Jeff Weinkauf made a statement that that plan was only temporary. He made a motion, seconded by Councilor Scott, that passed unanimously, that directed staff to work with the planning board to bring to council a comprehensive ordinance that would address every need we have on this island, from trash cans to parking on the beachfront, wooded and commercial areas. Have something that would grow with this island rather than the council having to do patchwork over and over. Those remarks are in my words, however, they come from the August 12th minutes. So tonight, rather than the planning board and the town staff presenting a comprehensive plan, you are being asked again to piecemeal. I ask that you turn this down and request the Developmental Services and the Planning board to do what you told them to do on August the 12th.
Thank you, Ms. Huck. Next is Bob Germain.
Bob Germain, 6610 Kingsland Drive. We can't seem to get through to the planning board the necessity of having one parking space for each bedroom in a house. As mentioned a number of times by myself to the town council and planning board, 5 parking spaces for a 7-bedroom house is not enough. When a parking space is defined as 9 feet by 18 feet long, this is smaller than most of the vehicles that people come to the beach in. A truck with a boat and trailer will take up at least 3 parking spaces. We have seen many times during the season 2 trucks and boat trailers at one house. We have seen U-Hauls attached to vehicles with paraphernalia for the week, plus golf carts, LSVs, also RVs with cars towed behind. When a group comes to the beach for a vacation, they bring everything with them and crowd the homes with more occupants than the house is built for. Please do not accept this proposal that the planning board has sent back to you without any true island-wide investigation. By the way, what you're asking for, or the planning board has stated, 2 parking spaces for a 4-bedroom house. Well, if you own 2 Volkswagen Beetles, that would work. But if you have 2 Chevrolet Silverados, 1 Silverado wouldn't fit in a parking space. Just see what happens on the beach. I realize that many of you on the town council and on the planning board live in the Yopon section, and where some of you live, there are very few rental places. Just take a look at what the beach is like, especially when you look at the homes that are there at the old pier. How many people are parked there? How many park across the street because there are not enough parking places under the house? So please do not pass anything less than 1 parking space per bedroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Germain. Next is Kelly Germain.
Kelly Germain, 6610 Kingsland Drive. Normally, I prepare a written statement, but I have to say I was flabbergasted, absolutely amazed the fact that the planning board is resubmitting the same proposal that you turned back then when they first presented it. It's almost as if, because they're saying that a lot of homes, if they get destroyed over 50%, they would not be able to rebuild. Well, that's like a Chicken Little attitude, because you should not be making ordinances of what if. You need to be making ordinances of what you have now. And if something does occur like that, hopefully it never does, then we deal with it. On the beach drive, you should have at least minimum of 1 parking space per home. Other places, maybe possibly, change that. Well, that's where it needs to be a fully looked at idea of where people live, whether or not it's on beach rental properties, whether or not they're on the island, whether or not they're on mainland. That needs to be the concern. Not everything's going to fit everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. May. That's all who have signed up to speak on public hearing number 2 this evening. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak, please? If not, Chair will entertain a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Madam Mayor, motion to close the public hearing.
Motion by Councilor Painter. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Weinkauf. All those in favor, please. And it is unanimous. Next is public hearing number 2, action, if any. Does any council member want to open discussion on possible action? Okay, then, if not...
Madam Mayor, can I say one thing?
Please.
It seems like we're in Groundhog Day. I mean, we sit here and made a decision, asked the planning board over 2 months ago to bring us back a recommendation that benefits the citizens on this island. It's not a one-all fit plan. That's when I originally made this motion. It was temporary till we got something in the works to get something to benefit everybody. The wooded section, commercial district, everything needs to be worked out in a comprehensive plan. I thought that was very clear by unanimous vote by all of us. And you can see why sometimes people get so fed up with government because it takes them so long to make some kind of decision. It isn't a hard decision that we asked the planning board to make. They've had 2 interviews with 2 different people. Bring us a recommendation that we can approve so we can get started on something. I mean, it shouldn't drag out this long. We did this because we heard from the people on this island. They did not want any mini motels, and they were tired of all the parking up and down the beach that was overflowing. So that's why we tried to ease the pain a little bit. I would like our planning board to get in gear, bring us something back so this council can do the job that it's supposed to do, and that's to represent the people and give them something that they need. That's all I got to say.
With that, Chair will entertain a motion, please. There is no motion, so the public hearing dies for lack of action. Is that okay? Okay.
Public hearing doesn't, that there's no action on the public.
There is no action taken on the public. Thank you. There is no action taken on the public hearing. That was quick. Next is council reports. Councilor Kaiser, please.
No report.
Councilor Scott.
I have no report.
Councilor Medley.
No report.
Councilor Painter.
I would like just to ask Mr. Foster, is someone going to speak on what's going on with the static vegetation line?
Yeah, I have that in my manager's report.
Excellent. No report.
Councilor Winkle.
I was lucky enough to go to the Coastal Resource Commission meeting they had, that the governor was at, to let him hear our views of what the coastal communities needed. I thought it was very promising. There was a lot of stuff that they talked about that we know we need down here that a lot of times we get overlooked. We know where the tourism's coming to. They're coming to the coastal communities. And a lot of the funding does not make it to us, and I think he was there to listen and to understand exactly some of the things we needed. Councilor Painter, Mayor Wallace, Steve was there to represent the town, and it was a very good meeting. And the other thing was, I finally got to make it to Spooktacular this year with my grandson for his very first one. I always like to thank Parks and Rec for the job they do. It was another fantastic event, and it went quite well.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Please.
I said I had no report, but let me just add on one little comment about that meeting in Wilmington where the governor spoke. It is in his 25-year vision, beach renourishment, as well as keeping our channels dredged. And so we're glad to hear that.
Yes. I didn't even have a report laid out. I was at just for the portion of the CRC meeting for the governor's roundtable discussion, and took out of it what Councilors Painter and Weinkauf said. Another thing I took out of it was the governor was almost on bended knee asking us to do something so that we don't have to spend as much as any of our tax dollars on lawsuits. So that everything they try to do, they end up, how much was it said, a little over $10 million last year, just on litigation. From the EPA will come in and file a lawsuit if somebody wants a permit. He said, we've got to get that cleaned up. There's nothing anybody can do until we stop spending all that money on the lawsuits just because somebody wants to do something. And I have been meeting for the past couple of months to thank our staff and the council members for the representation that Oak Island has been getting on a lot of these countywide and statewide meetings. I didn't have a chance to write them down. We went to the pre-firm meeting. Donna Coleman was there, Josh Crook was there, Steve Edwards was there, I was there, Councilor Painter was there, and then we had another countywide meeting, and Steve and Josh were there. I don't even remember which one it was. Steve Edwards, I think, attended both days of that CRC meeting. Councilor Weinkauf did also. I've seen Oak Island represented by more people than any other municipality in Brunswick County in these statewide and countywide issues. I I got the joy once again of handing out the prizes to the costume contest at Spooktacular. And the little guy that was the mini Bigfoot was just too cute. Did everybody remember December the 5th at 5:30 in the evening over here in Middleton Park is our annual tree lighting ceremony. And I don't know what date it is. We will have our annual Hanukkah menorah lighting ceremony, the first day of Hanukkah. I don't know exactly what date that is. Watch the paper. And then December the 6th, we have our annual Christmas by the Sea parade that's always very well attended. I've either driven in or ridden in that parade every year since 1999. I drove the co-mayors of the new town of Oak Island in the very first Christmas by the Sea parade. And there's been 1 year I had to put the top up. We always get beautiful weather. So pay attention to that. And I believe the ladies from the Oak Island Senior Citizen Center is going to do the refreshments. We're going to have a reception for all the dignitaries here at our town hall. As always, I'd like to thank them. Their refreshments are a highlight of the parade. And that is my report. Next, we have presentations, proclamations, and recognitions. We have a presentation from the Oak Island Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
I'm J.C. Moss, Chairman of the Oak Island Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. The Advisory Board would like to recognize and thank a young lady who has been an important part of the Recreation Department over the past 34 years. The young lady is unaware she's being recognized tonight, and we hope she'll forgive us for deceiving her. Gail Wall, will you please come up? I want to read what's on the plaque here. Hear ye, on behalf of the thankful community, we are honoring Gail Wall for her years of loyalty in helping with the health, happiness, and exhaustion of so many of the parks. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Board hereby presents the Golden Apple Award to Gail Wall, presented by the Oak Island Parks and Recreation Department. Gail Wall started teaching aerobics in 1981. That's when the rec department was built. And I understand she was probably the first one that was hired when the rec department was opened down there. And when you think of aerobics on Oak Island, you think of Gail Wall. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing us to be there this time.
And the mayor, on behalf of Gail, officially forgives you for deceiving her. Next is adjustment and approval of the agenda. With council's consensus, I would like to add a committee application. We have an applicant for a position open on our Animal Control Advisory Board. The applicant's name is Dot Kolbasowski. Is there anyone else that has any adjustments to the agenda, please?
Well, Madam Mayor,
Please.
I just have a tiny correction to one of the minutes. This would be on page 36 of the package is the minutes from the September 9th, 2014 meeting. Down towards the bottom of the first paragraph, it said Ms. Schwerd said the town had about $25 million in fund balance in other funds. That can't be right.
I think it's $2.5 million, isn't it? Where is it?
What page is it on?
It's on page 36.
And it says the town had about $25 million in fund balance in other funds. Now, check that, because between our prepaid assessments fund And all those other funds, check and verify.
I'll listen to it again and make sure that that is the correct
Okay.
number.
Okay,
If it's not,
that's
I'll-
possible
Okay.
between all of the other funds.
Okay.
Okay. Sewer district fee, prepaid assessments, all of those.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Any other adjustments to the agenda, please? If not, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Have a motion by Councilor Painter. We have a second by Councilor Kaiser. All those in favor, please. And it is unanimous. Next is public comments, general topics, and agenda items. Please, when you come to the podium, state your name and address. You may have 5 minutes to address the council. And if you have written comments that you can give to the clerk, then she can record those into the minutes verbatim. We have one person to sign up, Nikki Cutler.
My name is Nikki Cutler. I live at 2212 East Dolphin Drive. I wanted to go ahead and compile a list of things that bother me about the beach. It's 5 pages long. That way I don't have to keep coming back. And I'm just going to go ahead and read it. Things that bother me. Things bother me so as I walk on the beach. I went to town hall, the council, to beseech. Please ban these things that I cannot stand when I'm enjoying myself, walking on the strand. The fireworks, they're dangerous. They set my house ablaze. The trash carts lining the streets, they leave me in a daze. Dogs barking and running, and loose as they are. The golf carts on sidewalks, are they wheelchairs or cars? There are tents everywhere. Umbrellas go tumbling. Beer cans and cigarette butts, I continue on grumbling. Kites flying too high, airplanes flying too low, people fishing for sharks, it just bothers me so. Jet skis and kayaks, boats everywhere I see, surfers right by the pier, wait, never mind, that was me. The bikinis, the swimsuits, sand castles with sticks, the rocks, the big holes, it's making me sick. Cars driving too fast, cars driving too slow. People can't cross the street. It's their first time, you know. 7 cars per house, lights on all night, loud parties, the weddings. I mentioned the trash carts, right? Erosion on the beach, we can't let that be. Visitors leaving litter, and they're parking for free. And then there's the ocean, too salty, too deep. Their fish in that water just gives me the creeps. But this is Oak Island, and as you can see, the best place on earth to live and to be. So thank you, Town Council, for all that you do. And though I complain, I appreciate you.
Best public comments I've ever heard after 11 years.
Madam Mayor?
Please.
Could I ask her to please forward those comments and her problems with this to me? So
Would you
we can make
please?
it correct?
Okay, following that, is there anyone else that wishes to speak, please?
Mayor, I do have a set of submitted comments.
Please.
And this comes from Mary Ellen Rogers. On behalf of the volunteers at Seabiscuit Wildlife Shelter, I would like to thank the town of Oak Island for its financial support of our bird rehabilitation center. The donation of $1,000 will be put to good use in months ahead as we are visited by a number of migratory species. This year alone, we have cared for 322 birds, 94 of which were from Oak Island. Residents and visitors alike include the pelicans soaring overhead as part of their beach experience. Similarly, we see egrets and herons fishing in the salt marsh or songbirds flitting in the woods as part of our island home. We have no paid staff at Seabiscuit. The passion of our volunteers in caring for the birds and educating the public is evident. Your support of our mission means a great deal to us.
Thank you. Good. I love our public comments tonight. Okay, next is our regular meeting portion. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Councilor Painter. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Medlin. Was that you? Okay, all those in favor, please. And it is unanimous. We have no items removed. Committee appointments. We have on the Community Center Advisory Board, one term ending October 2017 by Eileen Ramsdale. All those in favor of appointing Ms. Ramsdale to this committee, please. Thank you. And then we have the added application from Dot Kolbasowski for the Animal Control Advisory Board. All those in favor, please. Thank you. This is unanimous. Okay, next we have committee reports. Please.
John Falk, 164 Northwest 2nd Street. Chair of the committee for the Oak Island Part 3. I'd like to say a special thank you to our Parks Department. We had just recently had a great tournament for the Cure for the Cause, and the Cause for the Cure, I'm sorry, this past Friday. And Rebecca and her staff were just outstanding in managing that tournament. Don and Wayne, of course, our course personnel, were giving us a great course to play on that week. And their dedication in town, again, I will say to every meeting here, is just outstanding for those two members. I want to give a special thank you to the participants of this year's tournament. The women were great. We had 64 players out there, and they loved the golf course. They had a good time, and again, it was for a good cause. I'd also like to especially thank Rhonda from the Flying Fish Cafe. She had donated the food for the outing with her staff's help, and we had many other vendors who participated with the donations. I also want to let everyone know our membership drive is going well this year. We're receiving a bunch of new members, and old members are starting to re-register, which is a good sign. That's all I have for this report. And in January, I plan on giving a full report to the council. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for all the hard work on that. Is there any other committee that has a report this evening? Okay. We will move on to administrative reports. Mr. Foster, please.
Thank you, Mayor. A few items I want to cover tonight. Number one, we're going to have a little road closure tonight on Long Beach Road up near where all the construction's taking place, up near the intersection of Highway 211. This will happen at midnight. Doubt many of you guys will be out at midnight, but anyway, they're going to be moving a large crane from one side of the road to the other. I guess this fellows all the dirt they've been moving around for the last 100 years, I guess. So if you're going that way, just expect a 20-minute or so delay till you can get till they can get that crane out of the way. We have had some changes, and I've made some changes in our water collection policy, and I just want to let everybody know that effective January 1st, all utility payments over 30 days late in payment and have outstanding balances will be disconnected and will remain disconnected until the bill has been paid in full. All existing payment plans will be terminated and the balance will be paid in full. We've already terminated all new payment plans, and they've been discontinued. The only exception to this may be an outside water leak that's not the fault of the owner, that we might be able to make some type of an adjustment on that particular type. As far as collection of past due amounts, we have any outstanding payments to town that are due shall be pursued vigorously, either through the service of our collection agency, small claims court, or whatever remedy available. Static vegetation line. This is Councilor Painter's favorite topics. After about 20 years, the Coastal Resources Commission is looking now at some change in the status of the static vegetation line. For those that don't know what that is, this is a line that's out there, somewhat of an arbitrary line that was put in, I think it's back during the mid-1980s, and it's been in effect that long. And what it says is, even though a lot is buildable, they're saying it's not buildable because that line is there, and we have to measure off the distance from that line. There's a new chairman of the committee that wanted us to look at this, and I was appointed as a committee member along with 5 other people to talk about or to look at what a better way would be from a building line from the ocean front. And everybody agreed that the static vegetation line was not the way to go. It was arbitrary, and it really didn't mean anything anymore. So what the committee, and I would assume the commission at some point will be discussing, is what's known as a development line. And that development line will probably most likely be the front of all the oceanfront houses, and there will be some line of demarcation from there to the vegetation line or vegetation that's there, which right now they're looking at least a 30-foot separation between the house and the dunes, and it could be more than that, could be less. But the bottom line is the Coastal Resources Commission would like to see the local communities take more of an active role in the establishment of these developmental lines, and that's what we're pushing to do. Our recommendations from the committee are going to go back to them, and this will probably be brought up at their next board meeting. Is that pretty well covered? Okay. Progress on the Eastern Channel project. Staff's still working to get construction easements. We have 99 that need to be signed, and we have a total of 66 that we've received. And I would urge anyone that has this to please go ahead and get those in as soon as we can. We have to have these in before we start construction down there, and that will be probably sometime about mid-late January. So we're still collecting those. We did send out a second notice on that, so I think you got an email from somebody on that the other day. So we're still pursuing that part of it. Our consultant, Moffitt Nichols, currently working on construction specifications for the project, and they'll be sending out bid packets in December. They'll be making a presentation to the board at their regular December council meeting. So they'll fill you in on what all's going on with it and some maps and that type of thing. We've also received word from the North Carolina Division of Water Resources that they're planning on going ahead and sending us some money. They said they just want to make sure that it's there, which they seem to think it is, for an additional state funding of the project for $600,000 more, which would bring the total up to what we originally thought at 1.7, which is roughly half the cost of what the project is. As to the county, I have not heard anything else from the county, but I hope that maybe we go back and pursue that a little bit more. Let's see, Steve, you want to do a quick update on our preserve situation and see where we're going with that?
And while Steve's coming up, to tell you how long that AVL issue has been going on, I found back when I used to be videotaping the council meetings, the alternate vegetation line issue presentation by Jeff Warren with the CRC. It had to have been no later than 2005 because Helen Cashwell was mayor when that presentation was done. I found it loaded up on YouTube so the council members could see what they're looking at now as opposed to in 2005, what they told us we had to do. And I would encourage everyone to please contact your county commissioners and encourage them to assist in the funding of our dredging project, the Eastern Channel project. They funded $285,000 in the 2014 fiscal year for Holden Beach for their funding, for their dredging project to get sand for their beach. Let's encourage them. I think they all are in favor of it. They just said they got to find the money. So let's encourage them to look at their budget and see if they can't phase in Smithfield Park a little bit and assist us with funding on that project.
Go ahead, Steve.
Madam Mayor, before Mr. Edwards gets started, I've asked him not to comment on any strategy or potential for combination actions. That would be litigation that would be more appropriate for closed session. And I would also ask that when he's finished, if there are any questions, you keep that in mind. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Council, Mayor, I talked with Bob Duffy again today just to be sure as to any updated on the status. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes that y'all probably haven't seen because it's things that are done to get the new development plans in place. One of the things that they had to do is they had to create a master POA declaration, and then they had to commit to create two sub divisions underneath that, one for the condominiums and one for the cottage homes that they're going to create. And they've got approval from the Property Owners Association to move forward with that back on October 18th, I believe was the date. And they're moving forward with that. They've got the declarations completed in the finalizing stages and ready for recordation. They've also had to deal with some state stormwater issues. They've got those resolved and moving forward with those. They also had some soils issues they were looking at for the foundations of these structures and having to do engineering soils analysis, and while they were doing that, they discovered that some of the wetland delineations were a little more restrictive than what they needed to be, and they found some more uplands, so they went through a process of new delineations and getting more of the wetlands defined correctly. They've got that completed. The hurdle they've got right now is just getting all this recorded, getting the acquisition done, and moving forward with the project. They did run into an issue with the airport. They've got an encroachment about 25 feet on one corner of their property of a fence that the airport put up. So they've got to work with that and getting it resolved. In the past, before his Homeland Security, he would just go on and remove the fence, but he doesn't think that's very wise at today's standards to do that. The building, he did have another contractor out there today, actually, or earlier this week, looking at the building as well. The process of tearing the building down, they're looking at being able to salvage about 90% of the materials. So they're looking at being able to be green with the takedown. So they're still moving forward. I know everybody wants to see the building down, but it's a long process. That's where we are.
Thank you, Steve. Very good.
Steve, can I ask one quick question? Somebody asked me about this a couple of weeks ago. The road, the access road getting to the preserve, and that road does go down underneath the bridge and then comes up on the other side, and that's Old Bridge Road. Does that road belong to the preserve or to the town of Oak Island?
I do believe that might be in the state right away. That might be a question that John Michaud could better address. I believe he looked into it.
All right. If you don't mind, look into it and let me know.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Okay, got a couple more things, Mayor.
Please.
Paving Yacht Drive, as you know, Highland Paving got the bid on that, and hopefully we're going to start with the utility cut repair work here very soon. We're looking at the temperature and the thermometer, and we can't do much after it starts getting below 45 degrees, but they're going to go as far as they can with utility cuts. So that should start probably, John, next week, you think? Okay, good. Wind energy, talking about green. It says the town, like Lisa gave me this, that the town responded to the invitation from the Department of Interior to be a consulting partner in the consideration of wind energy leases. So I would assume that they're looking for a representative at some point to participate in that at some point.
Now, that does not mean we are in favor of wind energy leases. We just wanted to make sure that we got in with that conversation, okay, from the very beginning.
Doesn't mean we're against it either.
No, it doesn't mean we're against it. We just got to get in there and figure out what it is they're wanting to propose. I mean, as you people have seen, the feds said that off our coast is a great place to put windmills. So we want to get in there and see if we can't control a little bit of it.
Also, I want to echo John's compliments to the Parks and Recreation Department for the golf tournament this weekend. The cause for the cure, and I've got nothing but a lot of glowing compliments on that. So thanks, Recreation Department. One other thing, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And I think that's about it.
Okay. And offices will be closed on Thanksgiving Day only, or Thursday and Friday?
Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday, okay. And then the town attorney's report, please.
We have a few items to discuss in closed session, Madam Mayor, but the Amon matter, that we actually filed the lawsuit against him for filing false liens, that was heard on Monday. The court granted our motion to enter an order and has entered an order to strike all the liens, to enjoin him from filing future liens, and awarded us our attorney's fees for having to prosecute that matter. Mr. Amon also filed a response that could be construed as a lawsuit, and the court dismissed that as well.
Thank you.
And lastly, Madam Mayor, if you recall, last month I indicated that I would like to work with Ms. Stites to come up with a policy regarding communication amongst board members and committee members and the council members outside of public meetings. I have a proposed policy here. I know it's kind of late. I don't think any of y'all have seen that. I know you haven't because I just got it to Lisa. But I'll pass that out, and I would recommend perhaps we take that up at the
December meeting. Okay.
And That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. And as an indication to me, I don't know if it's about to the rest of you, about what this council has accomplished over the past 2 to 3 years, we have no old business items and we have no new business items tonight. The chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session, and please state the statute.
Madam Mayor, I move that we go into closed session to consult with the town attorney on pending and potential litigation and specific personnel pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A3 and 6.
We have a motion. Do we have a second, please? Second by Councilor Scott. Saw his hand first. All those in favor, please. We'll be back out in just a few minutes, everybody.
They'll come back on, Greg.
Okay, we will call the meeting back to order. Council took no action in closed session. We need to reconsider an item. The chair will entertain a motion to reconsider including consent agenda item number 9.
Well, it's already passed. I think we just need to reconsider that item.
Correct.
So chair will entertain a motion to reconsider consent agenda item number 9. Correct?
Madam Mayor,
Please.
I move that we reconsider consent agenda item number 9.
Motion by Councilor Painter. Do I have a second? Second by Councilor Scott. All those in favor, please. And it is unanimous. Sir, I believe you wanted, is it okay with the council? He was going to comment during public comments, but he didn't realize it was on the, would you mind listening to his comments right quick? Okay, please. Councilor Medlin said if you don't mind, if you could confine your comments to 3 minutes. You think you can do that? Okay.
It should be very simple.
Okay.
My name is Bill Kimes. I live at 116 Southeast 11. And on there is one house. And there's 2 lots. But the house is on both lots. So there's no vacant lot there. And what I'm getting is 2 sewer district fees. And I've already paid the sewer district fee in my monthly bill. So, I mean, explain to me why I'm getting 2 sewer district fees.
I will let you communicate with our manager and finance officer on the process that was approved by council when the sewer district fees were initially charged, but basically it's charged by parcel. So let's let you talk to them about the way that the sewer district fees were charged. Now, I understand you have combined those 2 lots into one now?
I have.
Okay, so for the future, you will only get 1 sewer district fee charged?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay.
This is the letter that I sent, if I could. And I thought it was going to be emailed to each one of you before I got here. So if I could just read this right quick.
Okay, can you?
That's why we reopened the item, sir.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. And I'll cut through the chase. We bought it on February 24th, 2014. And we pay our utilities and taxes on time or before the due date. Because we already pay our SDF in the monthly bill, we would ask that one of the SDF charges be waived, since we have 1 house, 1 parcel, and only 1 tap, and that's part of this whole thing. There was 2 taps paid for, and there's only 1 there. So you've already charged for a tap that wasn't ever installed. I think you're aware of that. And so that's where we're at. I mean, it's just common sense. Both lots, you know, the house that's on both lots, it's 1 tap. And if you will check the records, you will see clearly that the 2 taps were paid for. And I have that right here, the receipt for those.
Did you pay for the 2 taps, sir?
Pardon me?
Did you pay for both taps?
No, yeah, they were settled at the closing of our property, yes. So, I have other properties on the island, and I don't have any problem, and we pay our taxes on time, and we pay the sewer district fees even though there's, the lots are not being used, but they are full lots, and so they are buildable lots. This extra lot, there's no way you can build anything on it. So it's just the way it is.
And
we can solve it pretty easily.
I'd like to suggest that you do get with our finance officer and manager later. You're not alone. We had a lot of people that didn't understand that those sewer district fees were going to be charged by parcel and not by lot, not by whether a house was sitting on them or not.
Madam
So
Mayor,
you're not the only one that has had this
if
problem.
I could,
Please.
just very quickly, Mr. Kynes is very nice, and we've talked about this several times.
Yeah, and you've been very helpful, and so have you, Lisa. Thank you.
Yeah. The problem is that, of course, as you mentioned, we've had quite a few other houses in this situation, and I didn't feel like I had the authority to be able to release that because of the situations that we've had in the past. But you also said, and we've talked about, next year you won't have this fee associated with it. Now, if it had been last year, and he went ahead and combined the lots, and then we wouldn't be looking at it for this year.
I didn't know.
But he didn't get it until February, right? Okay, that's where we're at on this thing.
May I ask a question? What was the situation with the sewer district fee and the utility bill before he purchased the property?
I would imagine, I didn't look at it, but I would imagine they've been paying those bills. I don't think they really looked at it, I don't think.
You and I discussed that. I find it hard to believe, but that must be it. They just
That's the only thing I can
They
figure.
never even bothered to look. They just paid it, I guess.
Did they pay 2 sewer district fees and a utility bill?
I'd have to go back and check it, but I think that they did, yeah.
They did because I pulled those records before I came here.
Well, I'd like to confirm, because that's not, what I said a moment ago, we had a lot of situations like this. If he was paying a utility bill with the minimum charges and a sewer district fee, that would be the situation that I was talking about. But, Mr. Eves, is this correct? If he was paying 2 separate...
You're talking about, what you're talking
never
about,
mind.
there's 2 lots.
If it's 2 parcels, the improved parcel number would have had it charged but credited off and
Had we
included in
not
the
done this
minimum.
by parcel, we probably could have done something. But this is
Correct.
all by parcel, and that's where we're,
Council approved all this years ago by parcel instead of,
yeah.
and that's how they installed the sewer.
And I can understand that as long as that one parcel could be built upon.
Correct.
So did I...
Having a tap there, even though it's paid for, it's like I told you, I'm not going to make you all spend your money, although like you told us on the phone with the attorney, looks like we owe you a tap. I don't want to see you have to put out the money to come and put that tap in. That's why I'm looking for this to be waived, and then we're
He
done.
said they had installed 2 tap, we call it the connections, the sewer connection rather than the tap and impact fee. They paid 2 assessments, so the sewer was installed per parcel. This is all going by parcel, so
But there's only one install on one parcel. 19, there is no install.
Okay.
Was it, but you said something about the tap being paid at closing.
That's correct.
It was the tap fee or the assessment?
Was it what was paid at closing?
You all know this better than I do. Let me just...
I think he paid for the assessments, I believe, at closing.
2 assessments?
Yes.
I think that's what he did.
Well, then it's 2 parcels.
Another thing, too, is it's not his, because he's got a pretty new house. Yours is fairly new.
2000, 2001, I think.
Yeah, that's a pretty new house for me.
When was it built?
2007, you say, or
2001.
2001. So it's not like one of these real old concrete block houses. But a lot of these were old concrete block houses. What people did was they just bought the whole thing, combined them, and then after a while they'd split them.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people were doing.
Well, that was the big, everybody rushed around in 2004, because in 2004, the council said that the assessment would be levied as of the parcels existing as of December 31st, 2004.
Which has resulted in the town losing a lot of money.
And they found that by state statutes, it had to be those existing at the completion of construction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they didn't do it as they existed in 2004. But we have had other people that did not combine their lots and had to pay separate
Numbers,
assessments.
both lots?
It does, a building on the parcels does not come into consideration.
This is what I get from it. He has one sewer hookup for 2 lots. He was charged for 2 of them. I can't see where he's trying to do something to get by with something because he's only got one sewer hookup. If he wanted to push the subject, he can make the town bring the other sewer hookup and put it on that lot, which we'll be paying a lot more money instead of giving him his sewer district.
We owe him for a sewer tap is the way I see it.
And I really don't expect you to come out and put that in. It'd be a lot more expensive, sir. So if we can just settle this with the $719, that's a pretty cheap fix.
I apologize for not catching this. I did not realize you had 2 sewer taps when it was on the
Well, it
consent.
wasn't all, it wasn't all
Right, I'm
explained
sorry,
to us.
before the council takes action on this, can we defer this until December? Let Steve get with David Kelly and confirm what sewer connections, because even though you may only have one valve pit, that does not mean that you only have one connection. He may have 2 sewer connections there.
No, he's right. He's right.
Mayor.
Without seeming disrespectful, there's no reason to carry this on and waste the town council's time anymore.
Just 1 second, one minute.
Thank you.
I want to make a motion. Will
Okay.
you recognize it if I make it?
Oh,
I make a
absolutely.
motion that we give him his, what he's asking for,
It's
the
just
sewer
charge
district
double
fee.
is all.
I second,
year.
and I second that.
And be done with that. Do we need to have him sign a release saying he's not going to come back and get the tap fee? Or
More
is
than
that
glad to.
misunderstood?
I think we need to have something, I believe.
You're willing to do that? I mean,
More than glad
you
to.
can't, he's offered that before you made the motion, so I'm comfortable that you're not conditioning the motion.
No, I'm not. I'm taking it at his word if he said.
Yeah.
Since he offered it beforehand, I'll be happy to get, I'm sorry, your last name, sir?
Kimes.
Mr. Kimes,
Bill.
and get a legally binding document regarding the second.
Do you mind stating the dollar amount, please? So-
Somebody say it and I'll repeat it.
It was
How much is the
700
dollar amount?
What is the exact dollar amount, please?
700
Mr. Hines?
$719.31, I believe, just around $719.
Okay.
Now, is this something the board wants to continue with? or-
Yeah, I think it needs to be a
Case by
Please.
case?
Yes.
So this isn't general policy, this is just for this one
No,
time?
this is just for him.
Okay.
Here, we may have some more case by cases and we'll deal with them.
And I recommend we do it on a case-by-case
Yes.
basis.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Understand.
brought us to.
Do I need to add that as part of my motion that this is going to be a case by case?
No,
I'll just
Steve,
note that in the minutes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. There's my motion. I'm done talking.
Okay, and you,
Second,
amend your second for the dollar amount.
yes.
Any further discussion, please? Please.
Well, the dollar amount, under any circumstances, can't exceed the charge. We think it's $719 and some change. If it's $716 and some change, we can't give them any more than $716 and change. With that understanding, whatever the bill is.
Just so I'll have.
$719.31. You amend your motion to that amount?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And he amends his second. Discussion, please.
Sir, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
Yes.
When did you buy this house?
When? February, just a minute, I've got the closing.
14.
February 14th or something like that.
Valentine's Day.
2014.
2014. And it was shown as 2 parcels, right? Or 1 parcel?
No, it was just shown this house, and it sets on 2 lots.
It was on 2 lots. The house does impede both lots.
Absolutely. There's maybe 18 foot on one side and maybe 12 or 13 on the other. So there's no possible way you could ever build.
And in your closing,
I'm sorry?
in the closing, I guess somebody would have had, were there 2 sewer district fees? I mean, 2 assessments paid at closing, or?
Yes, ma'am. I have that paperwork right here.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Eads, the sewer district fee is to pay the debt portion that was not satisfied by the original assessment levy of $4,200. Okay. If you want to open up that can of worms, you go right on, because in 20 years, when that house is taken down and they have to decide whether he has to pay a tap and impact fee of $12,000, then that's going to be a big issue. Has he paid the assessments or has he not? And it's not that I don't want to give him back that money. Steve and I and Bonnie, we've gone through these situations, and what happens in 20 years? I just want to be
Are we discussing, can
very
I say
careful.
something to discuss?
Huh?
Are we discussing that? This is just another example of how things were done wrong in this. And I
Exactly.
feel like in this case, I'm righting a wrong here. That's what I'm doing. I'm not making policy for 20 years. I don't know that I'll be on council in 20 years, but if people make me mad enough, I might stay around.
Madam Mayor, I believe this covers it with what Brian said, just about a case-by-case basis. And I think
Okay.
probably that would, is that right? Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please. And it is unanimous. Okay.
Thank you all very much.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate you pushing the
Thank you
point
for,
of asking us to look.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I waited around. See how reasonable.
We haven't adjourned.
We can't adjourn yet.
We can't adjourn yet. I'm sorry. We have one more item to consider. Mr. Foster, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor. We met in closed session and I met with the board, and I'm just going to read this real quick. It probably pretty well covers it. This memo is dated November the 12th, made out to all the board members and the mayor. This is to notify you by way of this letter that I'm tendering to you my notice of resignation tentatively for March 31st, 2015. I want to give the board enough time to properly fill the manager's position and hopefully enough time to help inform that person of ongoing issues. I'd like to let you know that this mayor and this board are probably the most dedicated I've had the pleasure to work with in 35 years in public management, and my leaving is a difficult decision. The board has handled some of the most difficult decisions that any board could face and reacted responsibly for the good of the town and its citizens. I'd like to thank you all, the board and the mayor, for your unwavering support of me and the staff over the last 2 years. And I'd like to thank the staff for their support and their efforts, which went a long way in executing board decisions. They have grown exponentially over the last 2 years into a solid, dedicated organization.
Much as I hate this, Chair will entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Mr. Foster tentatively effective March 31st.
So moved.
So moved by
Second.
Councilor Scott, seconded by Councilor Kaiser, as he shakes his head. All those in favor, please.
With regret.
With regret.
Thank y'all very much. It's been an honor.
And we need a motion to direct the clerk to begin advertising for the position in the normal venues. ASAP. So moved by Councilor Painter, seconded by Councilor Kaiser. All those in favor? And it is unanimous. If there's no more business for the board, so we can go smack Steve upside the head. Steve, I understand, but I don't think there's one of us that wanted to accept that. Just like you said in here, the most dedicated mayor and board you've ever seen. I've seen a lot of management years in this town, and the past 2 years has been the first time that I have heard employees say to me, finally, we've got a manager here that supervises us and lets us get our jobs done.
Thank you.
You've not only got the support of the board, you've got the support of virtually every employee, and they talk to me about it.
I'm glad. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Is that it?
Move to adjourn.
Moved to adjourn by Councilor Medlin.
Second for
Second by
anything else
Councilor
goes
Kaiser.
wrong
All
here.
those in favor,
Well,
please.
at least March, anyway. We got rid of it yet.
Voted in favor?
Yes, ma'am.